Well, I've started a new garden makeover. This was a garden bed full of weeds and really ugly. So I've dug probably a good 6 inches of the bad soil and all the weeds out. I've now put some barriers across the back so that the sand doesn't go through the lattice, and I've filled this new section with compacting sand, and I've compacted that down. Just here is where I'm going to put a water feature, but it's just going to be an underground, just bubbling over the rocks. This whole garden will actually be mostly rocks, so that will be when I prepare that water feature. I'll do another video and talk about that one. Well, I've moved a little bit closer to doing the water feature project. I've inserted the small pump, and on the end of the pump I've just put a piece of the regular hose. It's too long at the moment, but I will cut that shortly. I've filled it with water, and I just got a little plastic grate thing, which you'll see down there, just from the plumbing supplies, which I cut to allow the hose to come through. It'll just give the pump a bit of protection, and I put a couple of bricks on top of that. So I'll just close for the moment, and then I'll set up the tripod and we'll carry on. Right, there's a bit of a conglomeration of stuff here. I have, as I said, joined the hose onto the pump, filled it with water, and then I put this window frame. It's actually powder coated window frame, which I think they use for fly screens. Then on top of that I have put a metre of fly screen, insect screen material, which is I think it's kind of a fiberglass, and overkill. On the top of that I've put this piece of webbing or mesh that I had around. In the centre I went to the junk shop, and this is a part of a kid's ball, balancing ball thing, and I kind of got that because I thought it'd be fantastic if I could just get my ball shaped, orb shaped, whatever you like to call it, if I could get that centered onto there, that could actually just hold the ball in place. It's going to be surrounded by rocks anyway, but we'll carry on, and I'm going to try to thread the hose through the water feature, and then we'll have a look. So here's my actual DIY water orb, which I learnt how to do on YouTube. What I did was I used this bowl. I cut a hole in the bottom and just threaded some of this PVC pipe through. Before I added the concrete to the bowl, I sprayed it with some cooking oil. So I've made 2 of those, as you can see, and I've just joined them together with some silicone glue, and in a moment I'm going to make up a slurry of very watery concrete, cement, and I'm just going to go over that just where you'll see where I've got the join there. So that's worked out pretty well. At the moment it's sitting in a bucket of sand just so that it's easier to work on. So we'll get back to you shortly. So I've made a fairly wet mix here. As you can see, it's quite runny. I think in man terms they might call it a slurry. But so this is going to go on the outside of my water feature 2 halves, which I've joined together with silicone seal, and it is now a ball. So I'll carry on with that and see if I can set up the tripod so you can see what I'm doing in a moment. I don't know if you can see me very well. I've taken most of the stones out of this, the hard stones out of this concrete mix. It's really important. So I'm just going to kind of weave my way around, pressing the wet concrete into the join of this ball. Do the best I can anyway. Try and smooth all around the outside. There is a video which I saw last week on YouTube, and someone was showing you exactly how to make one of these. So I'm just showing you my attempt at completing my first round orb water feature. So I'll continue on with this concrete, and then when it's dry we'll come back and have a look later. So it actually works. I've put a little bit of rubble or crushed rock around the edge just to give me a feel of what it's going to end up like. But as you can see, the little plastic thing holds the ball. I actually used some 2-part epoxy resin to make sure that the hose stuck inside the top of that ball, and it's bubbling out rather nice. Thank you for watching this, and we'll continue. So I put 2 bromeliads with a little bit of colour. I have put a succulent there, made a little concrete ball, put that little creeper over there, and I've done a little bit of a raised rockery there with 3 nice different succulents, and I've removed the very large cordylines from this garden. Somehow or other I did it, and so as soon as I flatten that out I can start putting the weed mat down and design the second half of this garden. And yeah, it's looking rather nice so far. I've added a few succulents. I've created a little border here with very tiny little succulents here, different ones. Put a bromeliad in the old log. I'm getting close to the finishing stages.